where you say it's a dog's life that you want to live in, all fuzzy and simple. You're beginning to grin, but a baby can change things. He's beginning to crawl. Now you're left in the cold night, just scratching your balls.
I'm unloading the meat. 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 I don't even know what it means, what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is, what it is. I'm unloading the meat. Unloading the meat. Unloading the meat.
What's up, guys? New episode of Unloading Meat with yours truly, Jared Ralphie Allen. And today in studio, we got a special treat. Please give it up for the one, the only, Kendall Irvin. What's up, Kendall?
Hi. Well, about 5'1", actually.
Seriously, humorous, right?
Yep, that's right. You got it, Jared.
I didn't spoil that at all. I didn't ruin that at all.
No,
Yeah.
that was perfect.
Yeah, right there.
And certainly, I think that's of all the introductions I've ever had, that's certainly been the most recent. So
how you been, sir?
I've been good. You know, I've been a little bit sick over the last couple of years, and of course, you know, everybody went through COVID.
Yeah.
And but I'm feeling better now. So.
Nice. Well, sir, thank you so much for driving all the way here. Where are you from?
Well, Southwest Oklahoma. Do you know where Lawton Fort Sill is?
I've heard of Lawton.
Okay. Fort Sill is the Army base, the largest artillery base, in the world. And I live about 25 miles south of there. So I'm about 15 miles from Texas. So
Okay.
it's about a 4.5-hour drive.
Nice.
But just getting here and being in this vibe was worth it.
I wanted to make sure it's worth it. You know what I mean?
You know, and I'm glad you did all this just for me, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's going to take about 4 or 5 hours to box it back up.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
It's got to go back to that vintage stock I stole it from.
I appreciate that. So, yeah. Usually it's just empty shelves,
Yeah.
right?
Well, like whenever a guest comes here, I like to tell people, like, they're like, wow. I'm like, yeah, it's called divorce.
Right. I understand that.
This is otherwise known as the room where vaginas dry up. There's never been a girl that I've picked up and then she's like, oh man, I love your various collections of the Fantastic Four.
It's clobbering time!
It's catchy, right?
You're right. Yeah, for me it was guitars. So, and speaking of vaginas, maybe later on I have a song about that.
Oh, okay.
So called "I Am the Vagina." So
We're gonna have to do a callback to that, you know.
yeah, okay.
We're not gonna grab that vagina, you know. We're not gonna grab the pussy, but you get what I mean. It'll be a callback.
All right.
We're gonna cut that too.
No cuts. No cuts. This is a no-cut show.
The name of the episode just we cut that. No, man, thank you so much for being here. I love having not just comedians. I like having anybody that's going to be an entertaining, just, you know, conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I like having anybody that, you know, can be labeled as an entertainer or just somebody with a good story.
Right.
We've had all types. We've had burlesque dancers on here. I'm getting ready to have tattoo artists come on here. Just anybody that can have a good chat.
Right.
That I think people in the Tulsa area or the Oklahoma area just would like to see and, you know, hear their voices.
Right.
So thank you for being here.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. You know, speaking of being entertaining or being interesting, okay, now his name has left me. The guy who slapped, what's his name, and on the...
Will Smith.
Will, thank you, Will Smith.
3, 2, 1, go! Game!
You know, when he was doing, before he slapped somebody,
Yeah.
he was doing his top 10 things he wanted to do, you know, before he died, and his bucket list.
Yeah.
And one of them was to do stand-up comedy, which I thought was strange because I thought he already had did that.
You would think he would, yeah.
Yeah. So, but he hadn't, and he was preparing, and he was having some other famous comedian help him. And he said, I don't know if these jokes are really that funny. And his mentor said, you don't necessarily have to be funny, but you do have to be interesting.
Yeah.
So you know,
That's a good piece of advice.
Yeah, it really was.
And the irony that now Will Smith is like the butt of, like, you know, the punchline of a lot of jokes because of the slap.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me.
Makes him more interesting.
Yeah. Before he was just known as Jada's husband.
Yeah. You said that, not me. He's bigger than me.
He's got a lot of greatest hits, and most of them are on Chris Rock's face.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's right. So yeah, I don't and while I don't mind being called a comedian,
Yeah.
And in a way that's a compliment. I appreciate that. But and I don't know really what a humorist defined is, except for I think it's an excuse to say, well, I'm really not that funny. I'm just kind of funny, so I'm going to call myself a humorist.
Yeah.
But I'm going to call myself a humorist. Because what I'm trying to do, and when I say Kendall Irvin seriously humorous, is all of my songs are based about something serious, except for taking the dump in Walmart and Humper the Lover Dog, which are two real songs, but they're not exactly serious. And so it all comes out of serious subjects. A lot of my songs are about what? Divorce. So, and I have a song about suicide. I have a song about, depression, relationships, religion. And I try and do it in a humorous way. And you might ask, well, how do you write a humorous song about, suicide?
Yeah.
And maybe we'll get to that a little bit later. But that's what I try and do. I wouldn't say that I'm a stand-up comedian. In fact, I think I'm only 5 feet tall. I think there's a height requirement. But I try and do humorous songs that connect with people and maybe make them feel a little bit better. In fact, the first time that I did my song about suicide, I didn't know how it would go. And because you're making light of a very serious subject. And it's not that I haven't had experience with, because a lot of that song came out of a lot of my friends who were all teenagers committing suicide. And then that's how that song came out. But the first time that I did it, I got, people clapped and they laughed a little bit.
Yeah.
But as I was walking out of the venue, a man grabbed me and said, "Hey, I want to shake your hand. I appreciated that song. My brother committed suicide 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And you helped me to try and get out of the depression."
You're relating.
Exactly. I related to what you were saying.
Yeah.
And it was humorous, but it made me feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
So you never know.
I'm unloading the meat. Unloading the meat. Unloading the meat.
Check out the brand new luxurious UnloadingMeat.com, your one-stop shop for all things meat.
I'm unloading the meat. Unloading the meat. Unloading the meat.
And we're back with Kendall Irvin. Kendall, I think you got a song for us, right? You're thinking about doing some songs today?
Yeah, if you want me to, sure, be glad to.
I would love to do it. How long have you been doing singing, like basically singing in general?
Well, I 6th grade. I mean,
Okay.
A long time. And I've been doing funny songs most of my life. But I didn't want to do funny songs. I wanted to be a serious singer-songwriter. Neil Diamond, John Denver, and my son was watching. Came to one of my shows when he was about 17 or 18, and I sang a lot of serious songs, and then I sang a couple funny songs, and the audience just went wild. And he said, "Dad, just face it. You're not John Denver. You're Jim Carrey."
Yeah.
And
That's a quote.
Which was, I don't know, it kind of was disappointing to me, but it was also a compliment.
Yeah, a little bittersweet.
So you have to. So what I do, I just combine the both.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be seriously humorous. So take serious subjects and write funny songs and help people kind of get through things.
I love it. Do you have an example of what song you would like to do for us first?
Okay. Well, let's do the one about suicide.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll go deep right into
Just
it.
dig right into it.
As a 2-time failure of suicide myself, I used to say as a 2-time survivor of suicide, and then one of the other comedians, Roscoe, was like, "Well, that means you're a 2-time failure." I was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll go for the hat trick sometime."
That's a good way of looking at it. I like that. Well, I'll tell you, this one came out after 3 or 4 young people that I knew. 3 of them were in high school, and they committed suicide, and it really shook me. And a lot of thoughts after that came through my head, like I'm tired of being a human.
Yeah.
I'd rather be a dog, and I'd look at a dog's life. I mean, how easy is that?
Yeah.
You don't have to go out and look for food, and you can poop anywhere you want. I mean, just that alone makes it good to be a dog, So, and until I saw a dog, in the rain when it's freezing, and so, and then I thought, well, instead of writing a dark and depressing song, I want to write about the life, and it's good to be human.
Okay.
And that, if all those people that committed suicide, especially the young ones, could have said, like one kid, the auditorium was so full that they had to put people in the foyer and outside to his funeral. And if he could have just known, the love that was for him, maybe things would have turned out different. It's good to be human, nice to be alive. It's better than sushi or something that's fried. It's good to be human after all we've been through. I'd rather be human than somebody's food. Where you say it's a dog's life that you want to live in, all fuzzy and simple, you're beginning to grin. But a baby can change things, he's beginning to crawl. Now you're left in the cold night, just scratching your balls. It's good to be human, nice to be alive. Well, it's better than sushi or something that's fried. It's good to be human after all we've been through. I'd rather be human than somebody's food. If I were a cow now, sitting in the sun, munching on some grass now, just having fun, I would be so happy, life would be okay, till they came and got me, and I became a fillet. It's good to be human, nice to be alive. Well, it's better than sushi or something that's fried. It's good to be human after all we've been through. Well, I'd rather be human than somebody's food. Okay, here it is. Where you say it's over, where you say you're through. You're tired of being human. Now what do you do? See, a cow never told me that he loved me true. Well, the thing about humans, we often do. Okay, everybody, no, just the Jews. It's good to be human, nice to be alive. Well, it's better than sushi or something that's fried. It's good to be human after all we've been through. Well, I'd rather be human than somebody's food.
That was awesome.
Oh, well, thank you.
I almost used the lighter again when you said the Jews line. I was like, nope, I'm not going to make that comment. Like, we don't need to go there. Well done, sir. Well done.
So, well, let me ask you. So how did you feel about that song, especially since you've kind of had some experience?
Yeah.
So how did that connect with you?
I enjoyed it. I mean, it's again, it's like we talked off camera. You can tell intent. You can tell tone. You can tell when somebody's punching down, or just trying to be hurtful. Mm-hmm. Or you can tell when somebody's intent is to be humorous and make the not light of it, but like try to see the good in something, or try to make light of it. Or, you know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
It made me chuckle quite a bit. You're gonna see it in the episode that I was.
Good. Well, and it's hard to sometimes balance, the two of taking a very serious subject and getting a point across in a humorous way without being offensive.
Yeah.
So I feel like when I'm able to do that combination, that's when I feel I've accomplished something.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, that's the tightrope.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess it's the same way with comedy. You want to connect with people and make them laugh, but not be offensive.
Yeah.
So
it's finding that line, and then everybody has their own line. That line is flex. It keeps going like this. You know what I mean?
What's your line? Well, what's your line that you say, I'm not going to cross that one?
I haven't found it yet. I will say, as far as I'll just say last Wednesday, I was at an open mic, and I'm not gonna call any names or anything like that, but there was a comic that is basically she was very anti-rape jokes because she had been sexually assaulted in the past.
Okay.
So have I.
Right.
So a lot of her stuff was basically like she's tired of men basically making rape the punchline of I'm just gonna rape her or something like that, and I completely agree with that stuff.
Right.
But then when you say go so far to say anything about the subject of rape should be off limits. Well, that's part of my story too, so I kind of want to talk about it.
Right.
So it kind of, like we said earlier, it kind of makes me want to be like, well, I went right up there afterward. I was like, well, I agree, rape is horrible. Somebody didn't tell my best friend that growing up. He looked at me and was like, "What that mouth do?" So you know what I mean? Like I can go around it and I can find the angle.
Right.
I'm not making fun of her assault. I'm not making fun of I'm not punching down. I'm just saying it's part of my story too. So I don't just say it's a blanket thing. Everything, the world's not black and white.
Right.
So just like your suicide song, just because if somebody says I don't think there should be any songs about suicide, that song proves it wrong.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. I hope, and that's, and I guess there's really not a lot of difference between what I do and what you do.
Yeah.
Because we're both trying to toe that line, make somebody feel good without being offensive.
Yeah, we're trying to be entertaining and relatable at the same time without, like I said, it's never my intent to punch down.
Yeah.
Even when I'm roasting, it's a joke where it's it's got to be superficial or it's got to be at least a face value to really okay. Because, otherwise the audience doesn't get it.
Right.
It can't be too inside of a joke because otherwise the audience doesn't know what you're talking about.
Right. Yeah.
Dude, in the 3rd grade, Michael did this.
Right.
Doesn't work like that.
No. Well, and and you'd said that you kind of start making fun of yourself, and I do too.
Yeah.
I'm only 5 feet tall and 100 pounds. And
we're not going to get into mine.
So, I start, and I'm not going to tell the routine because I like to save it.
Yeah.
But my opening is about how small my penis is. So, I hope that'll intrigue people to come to the show. Because I will tell that. I think I'm going to tell that tonight too at the. Where am I going to be at?
Bricktown, Tulsa.
Bricktown, yeah.
Shout out Bricktown, Tulsa.
So yeah, there you go. Can't wait to be there. I've never been there before. So.
Great club, awesome venue. I just ran the light there and worked the light and the music there last week for the open mic forum. Great manager, great owner out there. Shout out Joe. And they're doing really good things out there.
Oh, cool.
Nice, good venue. One of my best closing jokes is because it has to be at Bricktown. I'll just give away my whole ending. I don't give a shit. It's a closing joke that I can only do in a specific place.
Right.
So I don't really care about giving it away.
Right.
So I can throw it up in post too. So Bricktown, when you get there, they have nothing but walls of pictures. They're portraits of famous comedians around the comedy club.
Yeah.
So that's like Louis Anderson. There's, there's Bernie Mac. There's a whole bunch of different ones. Ralphie May. But if you notice, they're all dead. It's all passed away famous comedians.
Wow. Yeah.
So I go up there and I'm like, hey, for my closer, I'm going to do some impressions. How about you, man? You pick somebody on that wall. Pick any portrait on that wall, and I will do an impression of it.
Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac. Oh, fuck, I'm going to get canceled. All right. This is me, Jared Ralphie Allen, white, doing an impression of Bernie Mac. You guys ready?
Yes.
I'm fucking dead! Anyone else?
Nope.
Yeah, but it only works there. You know
That was
what
good. That was good. You're okay. Yeah, we got it.
I mean? Somebody chose Ralphie May ones. I was like, really? That's a little too on the nose.
Yeah, or Norm Macdonald.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's
is it
one
too-
of my biggest influences. Norm. I love Norm.
Yeah.
I think my two biggest comedy idols are Norm Macdonald and Dave Attell. I was really influenced by those two growing up, and then Howard Stern. I would say probably.
Yeah.
Big Howard guy. Private Parts of the movie really changed my life in the weirdest
really?
way.
Wow. Well, and that's why you're where you are today, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's just like I saw honestly the Private Parts movie, hearing Howard's story and how he just kind of went against the norm and like how he battled all just stuff just to be funny or just to be different. And sometimes it wasn't even about the lewd stuff, because like if you listen to Howard now, yeah, it has the raunchy stuff.
My love, my darling, I've hungered for your touch.
Is it in, Richard?
It already
It's
went
all
in.
the way in. Oh, my God. Are you still mine?
But he's more well known now for his interviews.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's a fantastic
Yeah.
interviewer.
Yeah.
And like some of his ones with like Robert Downey Jr., like even the ones with Donald Trump are insightful as hell.
Yeah.
Because he gets people to lower their guards down. He's a really good interviewer.
Yeah.
And people don't give him a lot of credit for that. But like it's fascinating to listen to his stuff now. Post COVID, it's a little sadder because he's really regressed into being very germophobic and stuff. You can tell.
Yeah.
I mean, even nowadays, like if you watch current, it's the saddest thing. I don't know if you watch Howard Stern now lately.
No.
It would never be like this.
Uh-huh.
So like I watched like Metallica in studio. They came in to do a song. It's Howard from his home studio, basically doing a Skype interview to the other studio in California where Metallica is, and then they do it over the webcams.
Oh, wow.
They're never in studio together. Howard never leaves his house. He's afraid of germs and stuff like that. Him and Robin do it from their houses and are never actually in the studio with everybody else.
Wow. I
And
didn't know that.
COVID was like the blessing in disguise for Howard, because Howard always was a recluse.
Yeah.
And so he was like, oh yeah, I can stay in now.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it's kind of sad, but that's what he's turned into basically.
Yeah. Well, who's the new guy? Well, he's not new. Was the MMA fighter guy?
Oh, you're talking about like Joe Rogan or
Yeah. I like him too.
I like Joe Rogan. I'm not the biggest MMA guy, so like when he does some of those episodes where it's like, hey, I'm gonna just talk about the pay-per-view, I'm like, well, I'm gonna skip that one.
Right.
There's only so much time I could talk about guys just hitting each other in the head.
Yeah.
Like, at least make it pro wrestling, okay? Give me a storyline.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Even though it's not real. No, I mean, even though it is real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bumps are real. The storyline, it's just good writing.
Right.
When it's done right.
Mercedes clearly in control.
Harley has found
Minnie Monet.
Minnie Monet.
She's mad now.
WrestleMania this weekend. No.
That's right.
'Cause I love pro wrestling.
Really?
I honestly think pro wrestling and comedy are almost identical, and people don't see the symbols so much.
Yeah, absolutely. It's both very theatrical. In fact, it's way more theatrical. So,
Well, like even like just like the independent scene or like just trying to make it as a wrestler is very similar to what we do as like an entertainer or a comedian. Like we're going from city to city, town to town sometimes for like a hot dog and a handshake.
yeah,
Just to try to get a gig to do something or
Right.
maybe sell some merch, stuff like that. And it's very similar to how an independent wrestler works.
yeah,
Because we're all just basically independent contractors just trying to go from from place to place to get a spotlight put on us to possibly make a break.
right, yeah,
And that's kind of where I see a lot of the similarities and also the showmanship and stuff like that. You can take that to the stage.
oh yeah,
I study heel promos from wrestling before I go for roast battles
wow,
because
wow.
you can see the similarities so much. And there's a lot of pro wrestlers now that do stand-up comedy. Mick Foley,
Wow.
famously, who's Mankind and stuff,
yeah,
does his own stand-up tour. He'll be in Tulsa later this month
wow,
at Looney Bin. Well, he got in a car wreck, so I don't know if he'll be here still. Hopefully he will. But you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of similarities to that where they see it.
right, right. I'm way older than you. I'm 64, and by the way, my birthday was when? Yesterday.
Wow, yeah, happy
yes,
birthday.
you told me happy birthday.
You said my birthday was when, and I was starting to do the math. I was like, well, 1964 from 2025.
Oh, okay. No.
And then I got lost in the Beatles reference because I was like, when I'm 64.
And I'm 64.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
yeah.
Yeah, when I'm 64. So I remember when wrestling first started on television.
You're not that old. Okay, on television.
On television.
You're like, when I remember when wrestling first started.
Yeah.
It was around the Olympics 1.
Yeah, right. They were naked.
Tell me more.
Yeah, tell me more. So, and man, I just can't remember off the top of my head. But I mean, on Friday nights, it'd come on like at 10 or 11 o'clock, and it was nothing like who would have known that something that simple and would turn into to what it is today. But yeah, I mean, back in the 70s, I was watching it. So it was much simpler, and the guys certainly didn't look like they do today. So but yeah, I started watching it before it was cool. So
It comes in waves.
yeah,
Like late 90s, it was cool again, then it went away for a while.
Yeah.
Now it's starting to, I feel like wrestling and both it and stand-up comedy are kind of in a comedy boom, or like where a wave of it's coming back up into pop culture where it's being more okay to be a wrestling fan and come out and say wrestling fan and stuff like that.
yeah, and it's okay. I think we lost comedy for a while.
Yeah.
And I think it's coming back big time, and I think it will continue because we lost it.
Yeah.
And I think people crave that.
Well, I think Chappelle hit the nail on the head when he said that we're like the last orators, or like the last the village elders that like keep the stories, the keeper of the
Right.
stories for the people and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And like we are the ones that relate and pass on stuff and can just break through the stuff and just tell it how it is.
Right.
And there's people that take that too high and mighty sometimes. We're gonna have all kinds, but like for the most part, yeah, I do believe comedy's kind of like the last place where you can just speak the truth.
Yeah.
And kind of just hit the nail on the head and relate.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And so I don't, when people get upset, by what a comedian says and all,
Yeah.
to me, well, I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
And how can you get upset at, because that's their job to push. If we're not pushing limits,
Yeah.
then I don't know if we're doing our job.
Yeah. Like there was Tony Hitchcliffe, the guy that does Kill Tony.
Yeah.
He was promoting that it's moving to Netflix. So WWE Raw is now on Netflix. So they did a cross promotion where he did in commentary last night live on Raw. He just joined the commentary booth for like one match. And there's a famous wrestler named Big E, who's this large black man who famously got his neck broke a couple years ago, and like it's been a long time. They don't know if he's ever gonna be able to come back. He did a joke where like that guy hit him stiffer than Big E's neck or something like that. Just did an offhand joke like
Right.
that, like just trying to relate to a little roast joke. It's Kill Tony. It's a guy from Kill Tony.
Yeah.
Everybody started doing these headlines like comedian makes racist bad remark about Big E, and this is too soon. This is a life-threatening stuff, and he should be banned from all wrestling stuff. And it's like, bro, you got the guy from Kill Tony to do a basic PG joke, and even the guy from Big E was like, I don't even entertain it. It doesn't bother me. He was there to do a job. He did his job.
Right.
It's not any sweat off my back.
Yeah.
Like he didn't even entertain it. He's like, it's not affecting me.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. It's just.
It's just
I don't
how
know.
it is.
I don't
It's
like to
culture.
get into politics, but
Me either.
yeah.
Mostly because I always say like I mean we all have to be political in our personal lives, your personal choices. You know, we have to go through life. But for me personally, as a comedian or an aspiring comedian at that, or podcaster, the Daily Show's got it pretty much covered.
Mhm.
If they don't have it, John Oliver has it pretty
Right.
well done.
Right.
Enough said. Like, what can I add to the argument?
Right,
I'm not as
right.
intelligent as them.
Yeah, that's right. There's enough of that out there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something else.
Yeah, let's talk about dick and fart jokes.
So,
There's not enough of that.
there you go. Yeah, you want to talk about divorce?
Sure, we can talk about divorce.
Okay, if you don't mind. So, you've been divorced twice?
Been divorced twice.
Okay, me too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Wonder Twin
Yeah,
powers
yeah.
activate. Form of depression.
Well, and when I got back, so you were asking me earlier, how long have I been doing music? A long time,
Yeah.
So, but I turned to, quote, comedy, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, where I, took my son's advice and said, okay, well, maybe they like this better than they like my serious stuff. So I started doing, okay, so I'm gonna do comedy, and I hadn't really hung around comedians, and I started hanging around them after some of the open mics, and I realized they're depressed.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a spoiler alert. We talk about that on the show a lot. That when you're in the comedy scene, you're just navigating people's different trauma bonds.
Yeah.
Like, it's just trauma bonding over alcohol and weed. Occasionally, there's some cocaine mixed in there if you go in the back corner. Those knuckleheads.
So, and I thought, well, I'm just starting out, and I got to do what like everybody else, And so I went out and got married, and then got divorced twice, and I thought, well, maybe that'll make me funny.
Yeah.
So, but I got so how did you deal with it? Which one was more difficult?
I mean, honestly, the stage in this is my therapy. And I think that's the same for a lot of comedians.
Yeah.
We just can't afford therapy,
Right,
therapists. So we just go on the stage and we just make drunks at the open mics deal with our shit.
Right.
But no, it's just navigating other comedians' mental health issues and trauma bonding. That's the stand-up scene. People want to be heard.
Yeah.
And if nobody's listening, they're going to find an open mic.
Right.
Which is why Looney Bin has limits on their PG-13.
Right.
That's exactly why. They know their audience.
They know, right. Well, when I got divorced twice, and I think after the first one, which I was married for 25 years, you begin to start doing things, as a single person. I go to the theater by myself. I go to the movies.
You save so much money.
Yeah. And it's not that extra bag of popcorn anymore, or that $25 Dr. Pepper or Pepsi.
Now I just buy the collector popcorn.
Oh.
Like, I could have a date, but no, I'm gonna get this flying Deadpool pop. That's an actual popcorn tin right there on the desk.
So when I'd go out to eat and I'd see other couples, and I'd be by myself.
Yeah.
And I saw this one couple, and they were both attractive. She was really good looking and all, and most couples, when they go out, this is what they're doing.
Yeah.
They don't talk.
Yeah.
So, but these two were talking, and I couldn't quite hear the conversation, but you could tell he was just giving her what for, and she was in tears, and I'm just thinking, dude, here I am, I got nobody.
Yeah.
And you got this beautiful woman right in front of you, and she's not saying anything, and I just thought,
You're not appreciating it.
yeah. And I thought, if her vagina could talk,
I feel a song.
I wonder, maybe it would sound something like this. I am vagina, I'm better than gold. Men go crazy just to see my fold. I hold the power and I hold the key. Make you beg or drive you to your knees. I can make a man do some stupid things. Buy me crystal or diamond rings. He'll do whatever I need him to do. Well, anything I want just to get a screw. And I am vagina, hear me roar, driving me crazy. This is what I'm for. Well, I hold the power, now don't you see? You wanna come inside, then be nice to me. Sometimes he runs away from the deep Red Sea to watch Sports Center or taking a pee. Time of the month, it's a pain in my rear and drive a girl crazy like her first pap smear. It's funny how men just think I'm cool. Even when I'm covered, it makes them drool. Driving them while I'm pretty in pink, and it don't matter even when I stink. Okay, just the guys. I am vagina, hear me roar, driving me crazy. This is what I'm for. Well, I hold the power, don't you see? You wanna come inside, then be nice to me. I am vagina, queen of the dolls. You're mean to me, you'll get a case of blue balls. But whether you're a boy or whether you're a girl, we all fit together in our perfect little world. Okay, just the Republicans. I am vagina, hear me roar, driving man crazy. This is what I'm for. Well, I hold the power, now don't you see? You wanna come inside, then be nice to me.
Woo!
So that's what she would have said.
We'll have to put that video on Pornhub. It's not available in Oklahoma without a VPN.
Well, we could always put it on the Baptist website. But anyway, I like the wig. I was hoping that you would sing along with me. And
well, then I didn't know the lyrics as much. I still got to learn the songs a little bit more.
Well, did you like that one?
I like that a lot.
Okay. So,
I have different props down here.
okay. I don't want to look at that.
I also have sexy Squidward.
Okay. So, I mean, there's another example, just trying to take, something that a lot of us, I don't know, what's the divorce rate? 70%, 60%?
I don't know.
In Oklahoma, it's like 95%.
Yeah.
So
it's got to be higher than the Dow and the NASDAQ right now.
Oh.
Hey-o!
Yeah, don't remind me.
Yeah.
Okay? I was feeling, well, you're trying to help me with my comedy. Okay. I see. I get it. That's good. Okay.
Although I will say, I was just watching Last Week Tonight before you came up, the episode from last night, and they had an actual clip of a CEO being on a conference call, for basically just their funds and stuff like that. What do you call it? Just a regular business call. And in real time, you can hear him hit the stock market, just plunge their stocks. And he's just like, well, oh, shit. shit. That's not good. It's like, oh, that's the most depressing thing.
I'm unloading the meat. Unloading the meat. Unloading the meat.
This episode of Unloading Meat is not brought to you by the makers of the action figures behind me, such as Hasbro, Jazzwares, or even NECA. You may be thinking that they target, kids, but really, their key demographic, fat asses like me. If you want me to afford more of this, awesome set design, make sure to reach out to your favorite sponsors and tell them to sponsor this fat ass. Now, back to the show.
I'm unloading the meat. Unloading the meat. Unloading the meat.
You're not the only musician in here.
Oh, wow. Cool.
I actually recently bought a instrument on a hell of a deal on Facebook Classifieds. Basically because I hadn't played this instrument in so long that I was like, I kind of want to introduce it again. I used to play saxophone.
Oh, cool.
I can't play worth a shit now.
Many of my songs.
I can't play worth a shit hardly now.
Well,
but
let's
I'm starting
hear
to learn
it.
Oh no, it's horrible. I have it right here. Mostly because I wanted to bust it out on the show to tell the story of how I got this.
Okay.
We talked about divorce.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about multiple divorces. I found the irony in this Facebook deal that I was looking for saxophones, and this saxophone's like $1,000 saxophone. It's been recently repadded, refurbished. It's like brand new.
Mm-hmm.
Brand new reeds, everything in there, whole kit. He sold it to me for like $100 because his soon-to-be ex-wife got it to him as a gift,
Oh.
and he wanted nothing to do with that bitch.
Right.
So he was like, I'm just getting rid of it because I want nothing that reminds me of
Right.
her. And I was like, I'll be up to Tulsa in about an hour.
Oh, wow, yeah. Yeah. Well, if you get it out, you have to play it. That's the rule.
Yeah, like for $100.
Oh, my gosh.
And it's been recently redone, like
Wow.
everything. He played it like 2 times.
Wow. Well, what's it regular? Probably 1,500, 2,000?
Yeah. Yeah, we're not gonna do this on camera. I just thought it'd be funny for a little gag just to do a little note.
You know, well, you should do your best Bill Clinton. You know, you should learn. Yeah, I think it'd be cool if you could.
I wanted to bust that out on stage and just have it there on the stage, stuff like that. And I'm like I said, I'm trying to learn a little bit with YouTube to get back into it. But yeah, it's gonna be a work in progress.
Well, we all are. We're all a work in progress.
Yeah.
You know, when we're not in progress, we're Norm Macdonald. So there you go.
Just without the leukemia. And we're back with Kendall Irvin. Kendall, I see you have a new instrument for us.
Yes.
Ooh.
Well, this one actually has 2 names. It is called an ukulele, but it's also a guitar ale too, because it is tuned like an ukulele, but it's fingered like a guitar. That is, for those guitar players out there, as though it's capoed on the 5th fret. So it's a little higher than, a regular tuned guitar.
I see how you didn't want to use the fingered term whenever you're doing the song.
Yeah. Well, we could go several ways on that one. And it's but it's also called a tenor ook as well too. So there are baritones and then I guess regular 4-string. 4-string would be your regular, like the Somewhere Over the Rainbow guy. Yeah. That's what he played. So this I didn't have to learn.
I just looked like that guy if I didn't have a tan.
You could do that, and you could play the sax as a solo during that. So yeah, maybe next time let's do that. Okay,
I'll work up to it.
All right. And so I didn't want to learn a new instrument, so I just decided to get this, and it's got 6 strings, just like a guitar.
Yeah.
And this one's called Don't Worry. Yeah. Hey. So don't you worry about tomorrow, and don't you hurry about today, because this life will soon be over. So go out and just get laid. And when you think that life is over, and when you feel that love is gone, well, just remember, just be calm, 'cause there's always Match.com. So don't you worry about tomorrow, and don't you hurry about today, because this life will soon be over. So go out and just get laid.
Kendall Irvin, everybody.
Thank you so much for having me.
No
I
problem.
I got a show tonight and
Yeah,
some
man.
other stuff going, but man, I've had a great time.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing this. Before you go, tell my audience, where can everybody find you and book you if they want to follow the great Kendall Irvin? Where they can find you on social media?
Well, I am Kendall Irvin comedy.com, I think is what it is. I'm not a big social, in fact, don't underestimate my level of stupidity in technology. In fact, my opening 2 songs are about the lack of expertise in technology, but I think it's KendallIrvin.com. You can do Kendall Irvin, Seriously Humorous, and Google some of my songs. And I do have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I think my number is there, or a way to contact me, or I'm KendallIrvin@yahoo.com. You're welcome to send me an email if you want to book me. We do about I can do about an hour and a half show,
Okay.
and then we have other people like Miss Kitty and some others that we do a show together. So kind of a Branson style show. So we got a variety of different angles to entertain people.
Well, you have a new fan for life, sir, and thank you so much for being here. This has been awesome. Guys, subscribe to his YouTube channel. You will see some hilarious music videos also on there.
Yeah.
Great content, guys. Book this man. You're going to be enjoyed, you're going to be entertained. Thank you so much for being here,
Thank
Kendall.
you, Jared. Thank you.
Guys, this has been Unloading Meat. I'm Jared Ralphie Allen. That's Kendall Irvin. Peace.
Unloading the meat. 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 I don't even know what it means, what it is, what it is, what it is.
Bye. Have a great time.